we're ready officially to start now. So go ahead and find your way to your yoga mat. We're gonna start laying down. So get comfy, grab an extra pillow or blanket if you like that. And then just find some kind of laying down position that feels good to you. You could be in Shavasana, corpse pose with your arms and legs outstretched, lying flat. But a lot of times, having your knees bent and your feet standing on the edges of your mat can feel a little nicer for your low back. If you choose that option, just kind of lift up the pelvis and then set back down so that your low back is a little more flat to the floor. And then allow your knees to rest together at the center. You can always try a couple different experiments and then just cozy on up wherever it's feeling right today. There's no right or wrong as long as you're paying good attention to your body, your experience. So right away here, if you feel like closing your eyes, you sure can. You can always keep your eyes open, but maybe just start to look in one certain direction, just so we're kind of not focusing on any one thing. Start to scan through your body and just notice if there are any muscle groups that are holding or gripping. Softly asking those muscle groups to relax. Nothing really to do here yet, just resting. Moving your awareness through your body and relieving any of those muscle groups of excess tension if or when you find that. And go ahead and notice your breath. Let's see if we can breathe just through the nose if that feels good to you. So we'll find what's considered proper oral posture by sealing the lips, creating just a tiny, tiny hint of space between the biting surfaces of your teeth. They're so close that if you were to hum, they might kind of vibrate on each other, but not closed all the way shut. And then pressing and resting your tongue up on the roof of your mouth with the tip of your tongue behind your front teeth, the middle of your tongue kind of up there at the middle of the roof or the palate. And then imagining or sensing that your nasal passageways are getting wider. So each breath becomes a little easier and easier for you to breathe in. And eventually breathe right back out. You can deepen your breath, drawing air down to the lowest parts of your lungs. It can feel like you're breathing into your belly because when you inhale, your belly expands. When you exhale, everything just softens right back down. So go ahead and find your rhythm with some breath there. Try not to make it feel too like you're using too much effort, more like you're watching yourself as you breathe. I've got a little reading here I'd like to share from Adyashanti. He is a Buddhist teacher, and his name means primordial peace. I think that's so beautiful. This is called Eternal Now. Take a moment to check and see if you are actually here. Before there is right and wrong, we are just here. Before there is good or bad or unworthy, and before there is the sinner or saint, we are just here. Just meet here, where silence is, where the stillness inside dances. Just here before knowing something or not knowing. Just meet here where all points of view merge into one point, and the one point disappears. Just see if you can meet right now where you touch the eternal, and feel the eternal living and dying at each moment. Just to meet here before you were an expert, before you were a beginner, to just be here, where you are, what you always will be, where you will never add anything to this or subtract anything. Meet here, where you want nothing and where you are nothing. The here that is unspeakable, where we meet only mystery to mystery, where we don't meet at all. Meet here where you find yourself by not finding yourself. In this place where quietness can be deafening and the stillness moves too fast to catch it. Meet here where you are what you want what you are, and everything falls away into radiant emptiness. What does that mean to you? Radiant emptiness. Sometimes readings or Dharma talks like that can really hit and make sense. Other times it can be a little confusing, like find myself but not find myself. What do you mean? So no matter how that landed for you, just thinking about this sense of what was that word? What was the wording on that? Radiant emptiness. That's it. Radiant emptiness. My interpretation of that is where you're kind of peeling back the layers, the temporary things about you, peeling back all those layers, all those memories and connections, and just getting to that core part of you. Some people might call it a soul or your spirit or something else like that, your energy. Just considering that feeling, maybe even breathing just a couple more times, that sense. That core sense of being. And if you would like to set a dedication or intention for your practice today, feel free to bring something to mind now. It could be as simple as a word or emotion or something you're trying to focus on or cultivate in your life. Maybe there's a person or group of people you'd like to dedicate your attention to or this practice to today. Just deciding on something now if you'd like. Then let's take 3 clearing breaths together, inhaling through your nose when you're ready, and sighing out of your mouth. You can make a little sound with it if you want. Just 2 more times like that, in through your nose, out through your mouth. You can make kind of like an overly dramatic sound or kind of a theatrical sighing. It's kind of fun. Give it a try if you want. Just 3 like that total. And eventually coming back to a steady pace of breath as you begin to bring small movements in, wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe letting your head kind of roll from one side to the other. Start to rub the palms of the hands together, creating some friction and heat. Really get some warmth going there between the palms. And once you feel that warmth, go ahead and cup your hands over your closed eyes. Then go ahead and blink your eyes open behind your hands. You can start to see some light coming in through the cracks. just to relieve a little eye strain. Today we'll do some eye rotations. So keeping your hands over your eyes can be kind of nice. Let's turn the eyeballs only. So head stays still, just with your eyeballs looking to the right and looking to the top, to the left, bottom, back to the right. Go ahead and circle around a time or two more that direction. And then switch directions for about 3 rotations or so. And then blinking your eyes to come back to neutral. And then slowly moving your hands away from your face. If you have any props underneath you, you might want to move them to the side now as we begin to move. Let's bend the knees and stand the feet up just a little bit away from each other there. Comfortable distance from the seat. Planting your hands down near the edges of your mat. Tuck your shoulder blades in underneath your body so your chest kind of starts to puff up. And flatten your low back down to the mat again, just kind of by pushing down or tucking the tailbone under. Press down through your feet, through your arms, through your shoulders, and then with an inhale, start to lift the hip points up toward the sky, lifting your pelvis and stopping at the top. Go ahead and shift toward the upper part of the shoulders a bit more. Press your hands down a bit more and feel all edges of your feet equally as possible, pressing down. Keep breathing here. We're not going to be here for long. It's a good way to get the glutes and the quads working here so we can be supported in our other poses. One more breath in. And then exhale to lower down nice and slow. Pull your knees in toward your chest. Hold on to your knees or shins. And then start to take a little bit of free movement here. Maybe rocking a little bit side to side. Maybe circling your knees. Giving your low back and your sacrum a nice little massage. So just rolling some pressure around there. Sacrum is that part of that connects the spine to the pelvis. I can never remember if there's 6 or there's 8 holes in it where lots of nerves and blood vessels and stuff like that go through. So just giving it a little pressure can be so nice. Okay, let's bring our knees back up so the feet are still off of the floor. We're going to keep them lifted here. Let your arms come out wide. You can have your palms down or up. We'll have an inhale here at the center. With your exhale, slowly dip your knees, twisting them toward the right. We're not going to stay there though, so don't go too far. With your inhale, come on back up to neutral, right at the center. Exhale, dip and twist the knees toward the left. We'll do this a few times, so just follow your own breath. Your inhales bring you back up to the center, and then exhale to twist in the opposite direction. If you want to get a little fancy with it, when your knees are twisting to the right, you might turn your head and gaze toward the left. Inhale, knees and gaze back up, and exhale, switching sides. Take your time with this, maybe about one more round. Just making sure that if you started on the right, that you end on the left. And then back to center, set your feet down on the ground. Turn onto either side and then press your way up to a comfortable upright position. But right away, we're going to bring those legs back and around. So we end up in tabletop, which is hands and knees. Spreading the fingertips out at a comfortable distance, hands planted right below the shoulders, knees right below your hips. With your inhale, start to lower your belly, lift your gaze and your tailbone, finding cow pose. Exhale, rounding your spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone, cat pose. You'll go with your breath here, so with your inhales, lower your belly, lift your gaze, cow. Exhale, cat rounding up through your spine. We're warming up the spine here. Also, a lot of other joints, the wrists, the shoulders. Just keep flowing. If you forget which part of the breath is, quote, supposed to go where, just make it up. See what flows for you. And coming back to neutral, let's work on the thoracic part of the spine, which is kind of the middle upper back. With an inhale, let's reach the right hand up, upward twist here, just as far as you can go. With your exhale, we're just gonna dip and twist, reaching that right hand down, and then reach your right hand toward that left side of the mat as far as you can. Do that a couple times. We're gonna inhale, reach that right hand up, upward twist. Exhale, dip your right hand down and through like you're reaching for something over there on that left side. One more time, inhale, reach that right hand high. And then exhale, thread the needle so that right hand goes down and through, setting your right shoulder and side of your head on the floor or on blocks or props. Your left hand can stay right where it's at, or you can crawl that left hand up toward the top of your mat for more support. See about finding a nice deep breath and sending your breath and awareness to the right shoulder and the right shoulder blade. One more breath here in our thread the needle pose. And then press your left hand back or plant it right there back by your face. Press your way on up and reach your right hand high again. And then set your right hand on the ground. We're going to switch sides, starting with those little thoracic twists. So with your inhale, reach that left hand, that left arm up, just enough. Exhale, dip and twist, reaching that left hand through. Inhale, reach the left hand high. Exhale, twist. Now we'll inhale and reach up high. And with your exhale, thread the needle, left arm dipping down and through. Set your left shoulder inside of the head on the floor or props. Just use your right hand as support, maybe planted there by your face or up near the top of your mat. You can take a couple of experiments there with hand placement if you like. And once you settle in, see if you can send your awareness and your breath to the left shoulder and shoulder blade. Just about one more breath on this side. If that didn't quite feel long enough, go ahead and take another round of breath. You can always stay or linger in poses that feel good. When you're ready, planting your right hand back up there by your face, press your way all the way up. Reach your left hand high once again. And then set your left hand on the ground. Let's find our way to extended child's pose. So bringing your knees out wide toward the edges of your mat, touching your big toes behind you. You might start to sink your seat down toward your heels and then come down maybe to forearms or hands out toward the top of your mat. If that doesn't feel good on your knees to get that deep into it, you can kind of keep your seat a little higher and come down to the forearms or reaching your hands out a little farther. You can always grab a block or pillows or cushions or something to sit behind you between the thigh and the calf there if you need a little something squishy. If you ever find that in the middle of our classes here that there are poses that you just can't get to feel okay for you, you can always reach out to me. We can troubleshoot any poses that pose a problem. But for now, making sure your knees are wide enough that you can take a full breath in and let your belly expand. Take up all the space you can with the belly, inhaling, and then exhaling, letting it all soften up. Do it a few times, filling and releasing. And then come on back up to tabletop when you're ready. We'll find our first downward facing dog of our practice today. If you have blocks and you like to use them, we'll bring those up to the top of the mat just as a little ease in for the upper body. Blocks or not, we're still going to spread the fingertips out and grip down into the floor. Curl your toes under, start to pick up your knees, then reach your tailbone high. Find your breath here first. Commit to a nice flowing style of breath. Then press your hands down into the floor or the blocks even more, reaching through your shoulders. But make sure you have just a little micro bend in your elbows. You might start to pedal your legs out, bending and straightening opposite knees a couple times. Sometimes it feels good to come up on both tippy toes and then sink your heels down. You're just kind of playing around in this first downward dog. Breathing, of course. So easy to hold our breath when we go upside down, so just keep checking in. And then start to bend your knees and look up toward your hands, but with your exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat so you end up in a forward fold at the back, ragdoll pose. Now your feet can stay as wide as they just naturally went, or you can widen your feet out by toe heeling your feet a little bit wider toward the edges of your mat. Just make sure that your lower belly and the rest of your body are feeling comfortable. Letting your upper body be kind of loose here. You can just kind of hang out, or maybe find a little bit of a swaying motion. I really like to bend extra deep into the knees and then straighten the knees a couple times. Just feels like a wonderful, the words space bringer, space maker are coming up here. Space maker for my low back. Just playing for another breath or two here. Ragdoll. And then toe heel your feet in. Bend your knees, tuck your chin down toward your chest, and then walk your hands up your legs as you slowly come up to stand. Eventually at the top, we're just going to find some organic movement, maybe a little bit of swinging of the arms or a little bit of a shake or a bounce. It's kind of nice to lift and lower your heels and just kind of let that deep kind of bounce go through the body. This is good for our circulation. Energetically, a good shake is really cleansing and just kind of gets stagnant energy moving. I bet you can feel it. And try not to look cool. Just like let it out, whatever's coming up. No one gets to look cool right now. We all gotta just feel it out. Okay. Once you're done making sure we're back at the back of our mats, let's spin the palms to face the front of your space and wiggle your toes, pick up the toes, spread them out, set them back down so you have a nice solid foundation. With an inhale, reach your arms around and then join your palms up and overhead. You could look up at your hands if you like. And then exhale, bring your hands down to heart center, tucking your chin. Inhale, hands go high. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. So arms are reaching wide. We're hinging at the hips here with a nice tall spine. And then releasing the hands toward the floor. Inhale, slide your hands up, your legs all the way up to the thighs here, halfway lift. And then exhale, lower your hands down to the floor, walk your way out to your high plank. You can always lower your knees right away here or keep them lifted. We're just gonna have one big breath in And then exhale, lower your knees, move those blocks to the side, and then lower your chest all the way down. Breathing like normal here, we're gonna set up a couple rounds of our baby cobra. So press the tops of your feet down into the mat so much that your knees start popping up a little bit here. Slide your palms down a little closer to your low rib cage if that feels good to you. With your inhale, lifting through the head and the heart, finding your baby cobra. And then exhale, lower back down with control. We'll do that a few more times. Spend your entire inhale lifting up, baby cobra. See if you can just look down at the top of your mat here instead of cranking your neck. And exhale as you lower. One more time, inhale, rise up to baby cobra, and let's stay lifted here if we can for the exhale. With your inhale, option to hover your hands up off of the floor. And then exhale, lower down to crocodile pose. We'll stack the fists or the hands underneath your forehead, and then let your head rest on top. Let your heels splay out to the sides. And see just how quickly you can return to a nice, soft state. Really good practice to go from trying really hard, really active, to this nice, soft, relaxed state. Just giving the body, the nervous system a little practice at that. Even softer yet for one more breath. And then planting your hands next to the chest. As you're ready, press your way up to tabletop, hands and knees, and then right on back to child's pose. Maybe keeping your knees a little closer together this time, or returning back to that nice wide kneed, extended child's pose. Breathe here. Option to tent your fingertips up and reach a little more through your shoulders, through the armpits. Kind of like to rock a little bit side to side through the shoulders with the fingers tented up, but just be gentle on yourself. When you're ready, inhale, come on up, tabletop, grabbing your blocks if you like to use them, and then exhaling to find downward dog. This will be our last downward dog, so soak it on in here. 3 breaths. We're inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, feel each finger pressing down, and exhale. Last breath in, breath out. Inhale, bend your knees, look up to your hands. Exhale and walk your hands toward the back of your mat. So once again, you're in a forward fold at the back. Inhale, slide your hands up your legs, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending the knees a little bit. Inhale, reverse swan dive. So the arms reach wide first. Then we hinge upward through the hips. And eventually join palms overhead. Exhale, hands coming down to heart center. Pause there when you get there. Finding or creating a sense of peace here, getting to know what feels like your center, a state of balance. Maybe you can close your eyes if you like, if that helps you take a more internal perspective. Just pressing your thumbs into the sternum, that center part of the chest. Seeing if you can feel your heart beating, temperature of your body, the quality of your presence, and your intention if you set one. Let's take a clearing breath together, inhaling through your nose, filling all the way up, eventually letting out a nice big sigh. Blinking your eyes open. You can let your hands come down. We're just going to make it from the back of the mat to the top of the mat up on our tippy toes. We're just getting a little bit of balancing practice here. If you know you're a little wobbly today or balancing has been off a little bit, hold on to a wall or a chair or something for support so there's no chance of you falling down. Let's see about coming up to the tippy toes here. Just lifting your heels. You don't have to go all the way up if that doesn't feel good. Maybe your heels can just be lifted up a little bit. It's up to you as we go. I like to have my hands out to the side. It just feels like it's easier to balance for me. And then do what you can to take some baby steps to get up to the top of the mat. If it feels too easy, you might try to keep one of your feet up a little bit more. So when you take a step forward, maybe it's like a slow motion step. Actually quite challenging. So just keep taking some little baby steps until you get to the top. There's no rush here. And then eventually at the top, take a nice big breath in. We're still up on our tippy toes. Hands reach up overhead. And then exhale, lower your heels, lower your arms. You can give it a little shake if you like. Shake it out. All right, just a couple standing poses here next. So let's start to step just the right foot back. So as far back as that right foot can go. Hips are going to be square to the top edge of your mat. So we're up on the tippy toe of that right foot. And then bend into your left knee. We're going to find arrow pose here. So the arms are going to start to reach back. Deep bend in that left knee. Head reaching forward. Now we really want to bring the shoulder blades together behind the back. So we're kind of puffing the chest up, squeezing those shoulder blades together behind you. Arrow pose. With an inhale, sweep those arms down, forward, and up, straightening that front leg. This can be a little bit of a balance challenge as well. If this feels unstable, toe heel your left foot out toward the left edge of your mat so you have a wider base to start with. Inhale. Exhale, arrow pose. Bend into that left knee, sweeping your arms back. Head forward. Shoulder blades hugging together. Let's do that again. We're inhaling, rising up, straightening both legs, lifting hands high. Exhale, last arrow pose. When you're ready, placing your left forearm or elbow on that left knee. Spin your right heel down so your right foot now is about parallel to the back of your mat. Reach your right hand up and overhead for extended side angle. We don't want to dump into that left shoulder, so keep pressing your elbow or forearm down into your left knee. Reach as far as you can from that pinky toe on your right foot all the way up through the right fingers. Lots of length. One more breath in. And breath out. Lower your right hand down, both hands down to the floor or blocks. Spin on your right toes, and then set your right knee down on the ground. Breathe like normal here. We're going to find a twist. I like to have a block on the lowest setting underneath my right hand, but you could find another way if you like, but maybe starting there. Press your left hand into your left knee and then twist your chest so you are looking toward the left. You're twisting toward the left. Now your left hand can stay on your left knee, or you might reach your left hand up. Maybe you circle that left arm around a couple times, giving that left shoulder some love and attention. And whenever you've had enough here, bringing both hands back to frame up that left foot. I like to come on the highest setting on the blocks here. You do you. Curl your right toes under, pick up your right knee, and then take a big step forward to the top of your mat. Forward fold at the top. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening between the tailbone and the crown of your head. Oh, that feels good. Exhale, forward fold. Bending your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms reaching wide, hinging up, joining hands overhead. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Find and create that sense of centeredness. Maybe closing your eyes. This pose is called Samastitihi, equal standing pose. Balancing the sides of the body, breath, the mind, the spirit. Do you feel those qualities? Let's take a clearing breath in through your nose. Sigh through your mouth. Opening your eyes, let your hands come back down. We'll do that same little sequence on the other side, of course. So this time we're stepping that left foot back as far as it feels good to do. If you know that it felt kind of destabilizing on that first side, toe heel your right foot out toward the right side of your mat here right away, and then bend into your right knee. Find arrow pose. So the arms are reaching back. Nice deep bend through that right knee. If that's a little too far, just come on up, just bringing it up a little bit here. This can be a really good version of arrow pose as well. When you're ready, inhale, sweep the arms forward and up, straightening both legs. Exhale, your version of arrow pose, arms reaching back. You can stay more upright here or really get into it. One more time. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, arrow pose. Breathe like normal here as we transition to extended side angle. Right elbow to that right knee or just on top of the thigh there. Spin your left heel down so your left foot is about parallel or so to the back of your mat. And then reach up through that left arm, creating a nice big opening all the way down from the left pinky toe edge of your foot all the way up to your fingers. Wait. Take about one more breath here. And then exhale, lower your hands down to your blocks or the floor. Twist those left toes so they all face the top of your mat and lower your left knee down to the mat. We'll find our twist again. So maybe bringing the left hand block to the lowest setting. If that felt good on the first side, it's always a good place to start. Right hand to your right knee. Press into that right knee as you twist your chest toward the right. And you could stay here or reach that right hand up. Or maybe take some big shoulder circles there through that right arm. Always altering your practice to suit you today. So if you're over it already, just go ahead and find another way. Okay, and then bringing hands back up, we can come up to the highest setting on the blocks if you like. Curl the left toes under, pick up your left knee, and then step to the top of your mat. Forward fold at the top. Inhale, halfway lift, sliding your hands up to the thighs. And then exhale, we're gonna find a squat. So if you know what kind of squat you like to do, just go ahead and get right into it. If you're not quite sure here, toe heel your feet out a little wider and just kind of bend into your knees, keeping your hands supported on your thighs or knees. This can be a nice place to stay, maybe dipping one shoulder to the center and then the other. If that doesn't feel quite right for you today, maybe you build yourself a seat using your blocks. on any of the settings here. And then maybe you come down to Malasana Yogi Squat with your hands pressing together at the center and elbows pressing into the inner part of the knees. I love sitting on something here. You can still get that nice deep squat, but not feel like you're about to hurt anything here. Let's see if we can have one more breath, and then we're heading to the floor. So you can always head there early if you like. And breathing out. You can stay a little longer or go right down to a seat now. Moving any props out of your way. And then we'll straighten the legs. This is called staff pose, Dandasana. You can press your hands into the mat on either side of your hips. And it's actually surprisingly challenging just to sit upright in this pose, isn't it? You can feel like those little muscles in the lower belly. You can even feel them sometimes, like your thigh bones are kind of getting like sucked into the hip joints here. So just sitting tall, feeling that effort. Then we're going to lower down to our backs. We'll point the toes. Arms can reach out toward the sides here. You're choosing how much of a challenge this will be today. You can go slow as you slowly round through your spine and see if you can create the sensation of lowering one vertebrae at a time. Finding that wobble when it comes. I'm definitely wobbling. It's just a sign that we are challenging ourselves and growing. So don't be afraid of that wobble. And eventually letting yourself find the floor and just enjoy the floor here whenever you arrive. Maybe taking a sighing breath. I always feel just so relieved getting to the floor after that little core roll down. So just enjoy it. This could be a nice entry point for your final rest if you want. You could get cozy. Otherwise, we'll take another twist here before ending. Actually, we've done a lot of twists today. Let's take a happy baby to end instead. So we'll start to hug the knees in toward the chest. You can stay right here, hugging your knees in the direction of your armpits. If it's comfortable and easy for you to reach down and grab the inside or outside edges of your feet, or wrapping your peace fingers, so that's your pointer finger and middle finger, like you're giving the peace sign, wrapping those fingers around your big toes is another option. And then pulling your knees in toward armpits. You might be still here, or you might find a little bit of rocking. Just imagine yourself way back, being a moment of you being a happy baby, finding your feet. You're in a great mood. You had your favorite baby food. This one just feels like so silly and playful to me, so let's just lean into it. Okay, any other poses or movements that feel good, go ahead and end your practice with any of those last little movements. And then find your way to a restful position. It could be very similar to how you started today. Maybe constructive rest pose with your knees bent and knees together at the center. Or maybe Shavasana, corpse pose, arms and legs outstretched. And as always, if there are other more restful poses you want to explore, maybe legs up on a chair or legs up the wall or another kind of propped up position, go ahead, create your restful place. And maybe closing your eyes here. And scanning through your body. Noticing anything that needs noticing now. maybe adjusting a little bit more or grabbing a pillow or anything else that you need. And I'll just start to name parts of the body. And as I do, I'm just kind of passively scanning through that area. Nothing really to do about it, just the rotation of awareness here. So becoming aware of the bridge of your nose, the right nostril, left nostril, entire nose together, right eye, left eye, both eyebrows together, forehead, temples, cheeks, ears, jaw, lower lip, upper lip, top row of teeth and gums, bottom row of teeth and gums, tongue, root of your tongue, relaxed, scalp, back of your head, back of your neck, throat, collarbones, shoulder blades, right arm, right hand, each and every fingertip on your right hand, right armpit, right side, right hip, right leg, right foot, each and every toe on your right foot. Coming up and over to your left arm, left hand, each and every fingertip on your left hand, left armpit, left side, left hip, left leg, left foot, each and every toe on your left foot, both legs together, both arms together, top side of your body or front side of your body, back side of your body, inside of your body, notice the temperature of your skin, and then see if you can become aware of the air and the space just outside of your physical body. There are a couple of breaths here, just as if you could sense and feel your aura or your energy that kind of reaches out just beyond your physical body. You can feel this with like the heat of your body. That's something you can feel outside of the body. So just imagining here your energy field around you, your aura, so to speak. As you inhale, see if you can imagine or visualize this energy growing a bit. And as you exhale, your energy is just contracting slightly. So you're kind of breathing this energy. Your inhales have your aura growing or swirling. And your exhales having you come back a slightly smaller energy field. So just play with that a bit. Breathing, expanding, exhaling, and coming back to normal. A few times through. If you would like to stay and continue resting, you are very welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. And just ignore the rest of this class in closing. But if you are beginning to be ready to move along, just start slowly wiggling fingers and toes, maybe deepening your breath, swallowing, yawning, circling a bit more through ankles and wrists. Just continue to move in gentle ways. Eventually turning onto either side, finding the fetal position with your knees slightly tucked in. Your bottom arm maybe can be your pillow. Take one full restful breath here in this transitionary pose. At the bottom of that exhale, use the strength of your arms and hands to press up to a comfortable seat. If it feels right to you, keeping your eyes closed as you join hands in front of the heart center once more. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and be free. May our own thoughts, words, and actions somehow contribute to that happiness and freedom for all beings. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Together, let's bring thumbs up to third eye center, just between and above the eyebrows. And in a gesture of gratitude to this practice, to all of the teachers stemming back from India that have allowed this practice to reach us today. If it feels right to you, let's take a little bow forward now. Peace.